Welcome back, viewers. Thanks for staying with us. You're watching Beyond World is One. My name is Diksha Bisla, and let's get you started with the headlines. Israelis protest outside the Knesset in Jerusalem amid political row. This as government holds a no-confidence vote on Attorney General Gali Beherav Miara. The move to fire Shin Bet chief Ronen Bar has deepened division in the country. The Israeli military urges residents of the southern Gaza city of Rafah to evacuate. This as forces launch an offensive against Hamas in the area. The Iran-backed group claims its political leader was killed in an Israeli strike. Syrian President Ahmad al-Shara has reportedly requested Russian President Vladimir Putin to hand over Bashar al-Assad for trial in Damascus. Pentagon's intelligence and law enforcement claims it will probe leaks of national security information. Internal memo says Defense Department personnel could face polygraphs in the latest such inquiry by the Trump administration. The South African ambassador, who was expelled from the U.S. in a row with President Donald Trump's government, arrives home to a raucous welcome in Cape Town. Strikes a defiant note over the decision and says back home with no regrets. At least 4 killed in a wildfire in South Korea, prompting the government to declare a state of emergency in southeastern regions. 304 personnel along with 20 helicopters deployed to douse the wildfire.
The Kremlin says the phone call between Russian President Vladimir Putin and his U.S. counterpart Donald Trump is a step towards face-to-face meeting. The process of arranging the meeting will be discussed in Riyadh tomorrow. Ukraine claims at least 3 people, including a 5-year-old boy, killed and 10 others injured in a Russian drone strike in Kiev. The aerial assault comes ahead of negotiations among US, Russia and Ukraine in Riyadh tomorrow. Istanbul's embattled opposition mayor Ekrem İmamoğlu vows to fight on after a court formalizes his arrest, a move that has sparked Turkey's worst street unrest in more than a decade. Pentagon's intelligence and law enforcement claims it will probe leaks of national security information. Internal memo says Defense Department personnel could face polygraph tests in the latest such inquiry by the Trump administration. Georgian government cracks down on pro-EU protests, imposes crippling fines on protesters for taking to the streets last December. British Finance Minister Rachel Reeves confirms that the UK government is planning to reduce the administration budgets for the civil service by 15% by the year 2029. The move could put thousands of jobs at risk, especially the back office ones. Pope Francis arrives at the Vatican just over 5 weeks after he was admitted to a Rome hospital for pneumonia. Doctors have advised the pontiff to take it easy for at least 2 months to ensure full recovery.
We have some new developments in that mass shooting at a New Mexico park that killed 3 teenagers. A third suspect is now in custody. Las Cruces police say a 17-year-old, along with 2 other young men, are being charged with 3 counts of murder for their alleged connection to this deadly shooting that also injured more than a dozen people. Police say the violence unfolded in an unsanctioned car show. ABC News' Melissa Adan with the latest.
A dramatic video posted on Instagram showed the moment gunfire erupted Friday night.
1143 Central, we have multiple gunshot victims.
Multiple gunshot victims.
969 Central, start alerting area hospital.
The victims rushed to area hospitals. Las Cruces police say 3 young men, ages 16, 18, and 19, were killed. At least 15 others hospitalized. A witness sharing this video with ABC News showing a large crowd surrounding a car before a gunshot was heard. Authorities say about 200 people gathered during an unsanctioned monthly car rally when a fight between 2 groups escalated. Police saying they found about 50 to 60 handgun caliber casings littered across the park and saying they are now pursuing leads.
New Mexico Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham mobilizing state resources to support the investigation, sharing that violent crime in Las Cruces has increased by 46% compared to last year. Phil?
5 years after the deadly coronavirus claimed millions of lives, former British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has once again said that he is convinced that the pandemic originated in a Chinese laboratory in Wuhan. Calling it a scandal, Johnson, in an interview to a UK tabloid, blamed China for the COVID outbreak and urged the UK government to demand answers from the Chinese government. Now, back in 2020, Johnson had hit out at the experiments being carried out at the Wuhan Institute of Virology. Johnson also compared the scientists at the Wuhan lab to witches in Shakespeare's Macbeth. Well, responding to the allegations in 2021, the Chinese embassy in UK said that it was disappointed with Johnson's comments about the origin of coronavirus. The embassy said efforts should be better directed towards fighting the disease than apportioning blame. Even though China always pushed for a natural origin of COVID-19 for years, there has been no evidence of the same. On the other hand, influential quarters in the West have put up a strong circumstantial case for the virus's lab origin on the back of evidence that has emerged over the years. The COVID-19 outbreak began next door to the Wuhan Institute of Virology at the end of 2019. It had affected over 77 million people till date, besides claiming 7 million lives.
The Trump administration says it sent a new group of migrants to Guantanamo Bay this week. An administration official claiming many are members of the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua, but they gave no evidence for how they determined the migrants are connected to the gang. The official added that deportation flights continue every day. It comes as a federal judge demands answers about the deportation of more than 200 Venezuelan migrants to a prison in El Salvador. The president using the Alien Enemies Act, an 18th century wartime law that allows the government to deport people with little or no due process. An attorney for Jersey Reyes Barrios, a professional soccer player from Venezuela, says he was deported and accused of being a gang member because of his tattoos. The lawyer says they're a tribute to his favorite soccer team, not gang tattoos. On Friday, U.S. District Judge James Boasberg called President Trump's use of the law incredibly troublesome, adding his administration's arguments about the extent of presidential powers was awfully frightening. Why is this proclamation essentially signed in the dark on Friday night or early Saturday morning, and then these people rushed on the planes? To me, the only reason to do that is if you know it's a problem and you want to get them out of the country before a suit is filed. Nearly a week after the deportations, the president appeared to distance himself, claiming he never signed the order, even though it bears his signature.
I don't know when it was signed because I didn't sign it. Other people handled it.
The president continuing to lash out at Judge Boasberg.
You can't stop that with a judge sitting behind a bench that has no idea what goes on, who happens to be a radical lunatic.
It comes as his administration ramps up its fight with universities over pro-Palestinian protests, anti-Israel protests, and concerns about anti-Semitism on campus. Columbia University appears to have ceded to its demands after a threat to withhold $400 million in federal funds, agreeing to ban masks on campus and place stricter controls over its Middle East Studies department. Selena Wang, ABC.
In the backdrop of diplomatic tensions between the US and South Africa, Elon Musk has once again accused the South African government of racial discrimination. Musk accused the South African government of, quote, promoting white genocide in South Africa. Musk, the head of the US Department of Government Efficiency, posted a video of South African political leader Julius Malema. The video purportedly shows Malema leading supporters who are singing a controversial song from the apartheid era. Musk has described an incitement to violence against white farmers. Notably, the 1960s incidents marked the country's anti-apartheid struggle. Musk has been accusing the South African government of passing a law that legalizes snatching property from white people in the name of land reforms. He also claimed that his company, Starlink, has been denied license to operate in South Africa because he's not black. South Africa has strongly refuted Musk's claim on Starlink being blocked in South Africa over racism. A native of South Africa, Musk attended school in the South African capital Pretoria before emigrating to Canada in 1989. He later moved to the US and acquired US citizenship within weeks of taking office as US President Donald Trump suspended US aid to South Africa over its land reform policies and its genocide case against Israel at the World Court. And for the latest on that, our correspondent Kalden Ongmu reports from Johannesburg.
EFF leader Julius Malema is under fire once again for singing the controversial Kill the Boer song at a rally commemorating Human Rights Day on Saturday. Kill the Boer is a freedom song that had been used in the past to mobilize against an oppressive apartheid system. EFF sings this particular song in most of its rallies. The Red Berets have consistently emphasized that its liberation chants and struggle songs are not instructions, and none of its supporters recognized it as such. However, critics say this incites violence and fuels farm murders. South African Equality Court in the past has ruled that the song is not a hate speech. Tech giant Elon Musk also took a swipe at EFF in his social media platform X, stating that there is a major political party in South Africa that is actively promoting genocide. Julius Malema has made it clear that he will not be intimidated by Musk and everybody who stands with him. Recently, Musk labeled Malema as an international criminal.
Stuff going on my screen. Bear with me 2 seconds here. Okay. All right. Slacking. All right. So, Shalom, giving all praises and glory to our power, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Rachakwadash, double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect of the tabernacles of David, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, wherever you may be. To you I say Shalom, Yashua, Shalom. All right. This is going to be real brief. I was, every now, when I have to stop or whatever, waiting between, orders and things of that nature. All right. I was, hitting the news, okay, and stuff like that, trying to gather articles. All right. So I can just, gather them throughout the day, little bit by little bit. And I saw this one particular, where it says that Trump wants a golden dome around America. All right. So we know, the little small hatters, right? The propeller hats, right? They speak about the Iron Dome, all right, which is not so iron, given that attack that they had, right? Which we know that's all, It was meant to be like that, but you get the point. Anyways, yeah, the Iron Dome. So now you have Trump speaking of, he wants a golden dome around America, right? And so first scripture I thought of was actually here in Jeremiah. I know it's in two places in Jeremiah. When the Old Testament, try to drizzle it down there. Yeah, here it is, Jeremiah 49 and 50. I was thinking 50 and 51, so 49 and 50. So Jeremiah 49 and 20, as well as in Jeremiah 50 and 45, same scripture, slightly worded different. All right. One of them says, yeah, it says here, inhabitants of Teman. The other says the Chaldeans. All right. We'll read both of them because they're both still talking about Esau. Okay, same scripture. So it says, therefore, hear the counsel of Yahweh that he had taken against Edom, and his purposes that he hath purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. Therefore, hear ye the counsel of the Lord Yahweh that he hath taken against Babylon, and his purposes that he hath purposed against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. And the least of the flock is talking about the Amalekites, which are those propeller hats, those Israelis, okay, in the east, in our land, okay? And they are the main ones who are going to draw America, all right, into the point of no return of World War III, okay? Which they're pretty much, in different places anyways, but you get my point. It begins with them, okay? They're the least of the flock, okay? And we talked about this recently, where it was Benji and Trump. I think it's some other people too. I think it was like this meeting or whatever they were having. And he was like, yeah, they call us little Satan and you big Satan. All right. Because we know America funds and backs up, those Israelis with fundings and things of that nature. All right. The people of the Lord shouldn't need that. If they're the people of the Lord, they shouldn't need money, for war and things of that nature. Right. But yeah, Trump's talking about an Iron Dome around America, and it's not gonna work, man. You can do that. You can grab these missile defense systems and all those types of things, but the Lord is going to get his World War III. And you constantly hear about what was I going? Yeah, except for that, you constantly hear about these peace talks, right? They can make 1,000 peace talks, and they all go through. You know what's going to happen? They're all going to be broken, just like what just happened recently, mentioning Benjamin Netanyahu and the Palestinians. Every time they talk about a ceasefire or some kind of peace talk, it's going to fall through because Benjamin Netanyahu is definitely not going to stop. And then you can talk about Russia, Ukraine. They can talk about ceasefire deals and all these things. Russia's not going to stop. They want to take back Ukraine, okay? They're not going to stop. So it doesn't matter who talks peace deals and ceasefires. Those things are going to fall through because that's not in line with the will of the Lord, which is to bring forth this nuclear war, man. So Zephaniah 3:8 says, therefore wait ye upon me, saith the Lord Yahweh, until the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms to pour upon them my indignation, even all my fierce anger. For all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. All right. So basically, the Lord is calling these armies, these nations, together to fight one another. Okay. Because there's only two sides, man. All right. You have Russia, the backbone for that side. And then you have America, the backbone for everybody on the opposite side. And the only difference is that America's allies are going to at some point turn against them. Okay. And fire off missiles along with the BRICS nations, because this is everyone's chance to defeat the whore. All right. Collectively, we can do it. But singular, it's not going to happen. All right. America is too powerful. Okay. Now, of course, Russia has more powerful, more, better missiles and things of that nature. But it's what America is capable of. All right. That makes them still a major threat. Okay. To just go head up with Russia alone. Not saying who will or won't win. I'm just saying America is still a major threat. All right. And so that's why the nations are going to have to gather together against her to destroy her. Okay. And, I just wanted to be something real quick, just pausing my everything that I'm doing here. So I'm probably going to jump back on that live stream and keep listening in as I, drive. I wanted to also get, where am I going? I don't know why I went to Joel. I want to go to Joel 3, right? I just thought it was interesting, okay? And I was waiting to get a chance to pull over and briefly speak about it because obviously I haven't had a chance to deeply look into it. I just kind of listened to it. It's like, I believe it's like 4 or 5 minutes long, all right? But it's not going to work. It's not going to help, all right? As a matter of fact, let's get these few at the top and we'll jump down to get the point ones that I want, starting like, I believe it's like verse 9. It says, for behold, in those days, which were in those days, and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Yehoshaphat. This lets you know, this is one of those few prophecies that lets you know that we're in the end times. Okay. Because the nations are gathering. It says the same thing in Matthew 24, Luke 21. The nations are gathering what? For World War III to come down to the valley of Yehoshaphat, which is the so-called Middle East. All right. Which is really, I guess you can call it Western Asia. Okay. That general area there. All right. But yeah, so, and it says, I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, letting us know that, hey, your captivity is almost up. Salvation is almost come, but we still got a ways to go. All right. It says, and I will plead with them for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. And they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for an harlot and sold a girl for wine that they might drink. I really want to just verse 1 and 2. Jump down to get 9. It says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war. Wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Yahweh. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Yehoshaphat. For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get you down, for the press is full, the fats overflow, for the wickedness is great. Multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of Yahweh is near in the valley of decision. And that's where everybody's going to, end up getting destroyed by Yahushua and the army. Because America's going to be destroyed by those nations. All right. But Yahushua is going to finish the rest. And when we read down, it goes into some of that destruction there. I was just thinking of something, though. That's not the one I want, but that's a good one, though. A burnt mountain. Because it goes along with the news clip article. A Golden Dome, defense missile system, doesn't matter. Okay. It could be Diamond Dome. Doesn't matter, man. It's not going to happen, man. America will be destroyed in World War III. As a matter of fact, we'll end that Revelation 17. That's one more good scripture we can grab. Behold, I am against thee, O destroying mountain, which is talking about America. Babylon the Great, the West, right? Saith the Lord Yahweh, which destroyeth all the earth. And I will stretch out my hand upon thee and roll thee down from the rocks and will make thee a burnt mountain. You see? America will be destroyed in World War III, man, regardless of what these people think. You can wave 800 American flags. They're all going to get burnt up in this nuclear fire, man, because that is the will of the Heavenly Father, okay? I will roll thee down from the rocks, and I will make thee a burnt mountain. Matter of fact, there's another one that says we would have healed Babylon, right? It's right there. We would have healed Babylon, right? We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go everyone into his own country. After they do war and battle on the states, they're going to leave, because now it's time. We about to regroup, and we about to launch on this thing. We got to launch on this whore, okay? About to throw these missiles on this whore. It says, forsake that. Yeah, they're not going to rain dollar bills. As a matter of fact, pertaining to, I think it says about the Medes, they're not going to regard the gold nor silver. They're not coming here, to find out what's in your treasure, what's in your wallet. They're not trying to find out what's in the, not the Smithsonian. What's that doggone place called? I forgot. In Fort Knox. Yeah, they're not trying to find out what's in Fort Knox. If they're really interested, they're going to find out when they get here. If there's anything in there at all. Okay, which probably not. I'm pretty sure there's nothing in there. But anyways, you get the point, though. You're not going to be able to buy, wager, or any kind of way trick yourself out of this destruction coming in, because this is ordained by the Lord. America will be destroyed. It says, we will heal Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go everyone into his own country, for her judgment reacheth unto the heaven, and is lifted up even to the skies. All right. And the scripture before that was verse 7. It says, 7 and 8. It says, Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Yahweh's hand. This links up with Revelation 18. All right. Give her double, because it's reached to the clouds, man. That made all the earth drunken. You see, her ways have spread. That's why it calls it the great whore, pretty much, in Revelation 17. Revelation 17 and 5. Mystery Babylon the Great. The nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore, the nations are mad. You see, they follow behind her. And when you go to Esdras, Moab was the closest behind them. All right. If you didn't have a face, you think some of these Moabite chicks were Edomites. The way they talk, the way they act. Okay. The way they think, you think it was an Edomite. And then you actually see the person like, oh, no, that's definitely a Moabite. Okay. But they're the nation that has fashioned themselves closely, as America. after America, I should say. And one of those major things that they have done to show that is, as I always mention, the Belts and Roads Initiative. All right, that's a deep little program there. So China's kind of reaching their hands a little bit everywhere, like the same way as America has done. But let's keep going. It says Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed because they thought they were going to just last forever. And their inward thoughts is that their houses shall continue forever. Well, the elites know America is going to be destroyed. That's why they have bunkers. Okay. And some people have bunkers here. Well, it's not going to matter. They got bunker busters. You're going to get burnt up. There's going to be basically an oven. Your bunker is going to turn to an oven because you're going to be trapped in there by rubble. Your blast doors are not going to work, or however is, you're sealed off. Electrical systems are going to fail on you. You're going to get cooked inside of that, bunker. All right. And those that are not destroyed, which are pretty much the ones back east, they're going to get pulled out of their bunkers. It says Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her? Take balm for her pain. If so be, she may be healed. All right. May be. And this is basically, as they say, like a rhetorical question. It's not put in question form, but it's the same type of deal. A rhetorical question. All right. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her and let us go everyone into his own country, for her judgment reaches unto heaven and is lifted up even to the skies. And we're going to end it off by going to Revelation 17, because this will happen. All right. A golden dome ain't going to stop nothing. Okay. Caesar Augustus Trumpus. It's not going to stop. The 10 horns, verse 16, which thou sawest upon the beast, their allies, NATO, EU. These shall hate the whore and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. For the Most High have put it in their hearts to fulfill her will, fulfill his will, and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, unto the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled. So those vassal states are going to be part of the ones that's going to destroy America, along with the BRICS nations and the BRICS Plus, because this place will be destroyed by nuclear fire in World War III. All right. Iron Dome, Golden Dome, doesn't matter. All right. Invisible Dome, doesn't matter. America will be destroyed, thus saith the Lord. All right. So that's all I have for you. Let you finish off the news, Lord. Will you edify? Shalom.
As the Trump administration works to drastically shrink the U.S. government, Donald Trump is pushing the Pentagon to build what he calls a Golden Dome defense system to protect the country from long-range missile strikes. Now, this would be similar to Israel's Iron Dome, except Israel is only the size about of New Jersey, with America obviously much larger. Experts say it would be virtually impossible, but sources tell CNN the White House is signaling no expense will be spared to make this happen. Joining us to talk more about this is retired Air Force Colonel and CNN military analyst Cedric Leighton. Always good to see you, Cedric. Let's start first with this idea of a Golden Dome defense system for the United States of America. Could that even be effective in a country that is this geographically large?
Well, yeah, geographically large is, I think, a very relevant point here, Jessica, and it's great to be with you. The size of Israel is a little bit over 8,400 square miles. The United States has a square mileage of approximately 3.8 million square miles. So there's a large geographic difference between what the Iron Dome would cover and what the Golden Dome would cover, just because of that geography. So normally what you have in a case like this is you look for the kinds of things that you want to protect. So you'd want to protect a city like New York City or Washington or San Francisco, and you'd want to make sure that everything is set up so that it would protect those areas. If an incoming missile goes after an area that is not populated, that is less of a risk than if it goes after an area that is populated or that is an important part of our infrastructure or our government. So those are the targets that you want to protect. So whatever they come up with when it comes to the Golden Dome is going to have to really concentrate on the areas that we think need the most protection. And that's going to, I think, drive the plans for it, the architecture of this, and also, of course, the costs.
It's also, so we think about it in terms of actual physical size. There's also the geography of this, which in Israel, obviously that is a country that is surrounded by nations that and territories that can attack it or have attacked it. In this case, the United States obviously has oceans on both sides, and then Canada and Mexico. Do you think we need a defense system like this?
Well, certainly not against either Canada or Mexico, and that's that's one thing that you have to look at. Where's the threat actually coming from? So, if the system is going to be designed to go after hypersonic missiles, which have a global, or at least a potential global range, such as those that you find in Russia or in China, that would then be actually a different answer to your question, because the threat would actually come from overseas. So those oceans do protect us to an extent, but the range of missiles, such as a hypersonic missile like the Kinzhal or one of those missiles from the Russians, that would create a situation where you would need some kind of protection against those missiles. But because they are so fast, that also then becomes a challenge for any system that is built to go after them. On the good news side of that, though, the Ukrainians have demonstrated that they can shoot down some of the hypersonic missiles using the Patriot system that already exists and, of course, is U.S. technology.
Yeah, and we also learned that Boeing has been awarded this $20 billion contract to build a new fighter jet, dubbed the F-47. This is going to have technology designed to be able to penetrate air defenses of potential enemies like China or Russia. So on that note, how would you evaluate the state of our Air Force, our military, and what kind of update, what this update might mean?
Yes, so right now, the state of our Air Force is pretty good when it comes to penetrating enemy air defenses as they currently exist, such as the Russian air defense system or the Chinese air defense system, if you take those countries as potential adversaries. And the systems that we have, the F-22 and the F-35, are capable of penetrating those air defenses. The F-47 is designed to replace the F-22, but it has a kind of a dual role fighter bomber type role in its initial designs, at least. So the question then becomes, what kind of upgrades would the Russians make to their air defense system, or the Chinese make to their air defenses, that would necessitate an aircraft like this? The one thing that is also driving this is, the air defense question is one. The other is, what kind of aircraft are the Chinese building? And last month, they advertised the development of a possible sixth-generation fighter of their own, which could potentially be a competitor to the F-47. And so that's where a lot of the design questions will come into play, and that could also be a cost driver for this new aircraft.
Yeah. All right, Cedric Leighton, as always, thanks so much. We appreciate it.
You guys are denying this New York Times report that Elon Musk was going to be shown a 20 to 30 page presentation about a theoretical war plan against China. Why not just show it to Elon?
I don't want to show it to anybody. You know, you're talking about a potential war with China. Now, I deal with these people all the time, and I'm dealing with Pete. I'm dealing with these gentlemen on numerous different airplane purchases, and I think they're all going to be great. But I don't want other people seeing, anybody seeing potential war with China. We don't want to have a potential war with China, but I can tell you if we did, we're very well equipped to handle it. But I don't want to show that to anybody. But certainly you wouldn't show it to a businessman who is helping us so much. He's a great patriot. He's paying a big price for helping us cut costs, and he's doing a great job. He's finding tremendous waste, fraud, and abuse. But I certainly wouldn't want, Elon has businesses in China, and he would be susceptible perhaps to that. Nobody believed it, that the Pentagon was giving him a briefing on what war with China would look like, and he has businesses. No, they made that up because it's a good story to make up. And I just wanted to make sure. I called up Chief of Staff, and I called up Pete, and I said, is there any truth to that? Absolutely not. He's there for Doge, not there for China. And if you ever mention China, I think he'd walk out of the room. He wouldn't take it anyway.
bir kez daha hatırlatmakta fayda görüyorum. Sokaklara çıkarak yanına sol örgütleri, marjinalleri, vandalları alarak milli iradeye parmak sallama dönemleri artık geride kalmıştır. Sokak terörü üzerinden siyasete ve adalete istikamet çizildiği günler eski Türkiye ile birlikte tamamen mazide kalmıştır.
And in the midst of escalating tensions in West Asia and frosty ties with the United States, Iran has unveiled new missile systems on 3 strategic islands, over which it has a long-standing dispute with the UAE. The country's state media released a video of the Iranian armed forces unveiling the new missile systems. According to the Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, the IRGC, the weapons have the capability of destroying any target within 600 kilometers. The IRGC added that they are now capable of attacking enemy bases and vessels in the region.
We are capable of attacking enemy bases, vessels and assets in the region.
The new missile systems are deployed on the islands of Greater Tunb, Lesser Tunb and Abu Musa. The islands are located near the vital trading route of the Strait of Hormuz. Well, several vessels carrying large volumes of oil sail through the strait on a daily basis. The 3 islands have been under Iran's control for more than half a century. However, both Iran and the United Arab Emirates have claimed sovereignty over the islands. Now, earlier this month, Iran also held joint naval drills with Russia and China in the region. The joint military exercise was held as a part of the Maritime Security Belt 2025. In the past, Iran had conducted multiple naval exercises across the strait alongside Russia and China. Now, the latest move comes as Washington continues to press Tehran for resuming talks on the nuclear deal. US President Donald Trump has written to Iran of possible military action if the latter does not budge. In response, Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, has warned that any hostile action from the US will be met with equal force.
Let the Americans be aware. When dealing with Iran, they will never get anywhere by making threats.
US's West Asia envoy Steve Witkoff has said that Trump's letter is not intended as a threat. Meanwhile, Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi has said talks with the United States cannot happen till certain things change. Araghchi added that they will respond to Trump's letter in the coming days.
A new war front has opened in West Asia this week. While Washington is unleashing its lethal weapons on the Houthis in Yemen, the Yemen group has promised to expand its strikes to block Israel's navigation and even attack US warships in the region, as it already has done several times. Which side will halt its fire first? Will it be the US or will it be the Houthis? Take a look.
Strikes, counter-strikes, and strike again. The battles are rapidly scaling up in a new war front in West Asia. The U.S. is relentlessly bombing targets held by Yemen's Houthis, even as President Donald Trump pledges to completely annihilate them. The Houthis are not backing down, announcing plans to expand their operations and blockade Israel's navigation systems.
The operations of the armed forces in support of Gaza will not stop. no matter how long the American aggression continues. And these operations, in addition to the blockade of Israeli navigation, will continue until the aggression on Gaza is stopped and the siege on it is lifted.
The deadly battles started last Sunday when the Yemen group said it attacked U.S. aircraft carrier USS Harry S. Truman and its warships with ballistic missiles and drones. Washington denied the claim. Soon after, the U.S. military unleashed its firepower, missiles screaming into the night sky, and F-A-18 Hornets striking Houthi strongholds in Yemen. The targets included the Hodeidah Governorate on the Red Sea and Sada in the north, claiming several lives.
These crimes and this barbaric bombing of civilian establishments in these densely populated neighborhoods, targeting peaceful citizens in their homes, came treacherously and without warning while they were having their iftar meal after a day of fasting.
Trump says Iran will be held responsible for every shot fired by the Houthis. Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, came out in support of Yemen.
The events in Yemen are the same. This attack on the people of Yemen, on Yemeni civilians, is also a crime that must be stopped.
Washington has promised to launch its most lethal weapons on the Houthis.
We will use overwhelming lethal force until we have achieved our objective.
U.S. showcased its killer weapon system, AGR-20 Falco, that shot down a Houthi drone. While U.S. deadly strikes on Houthi strongholds have devastated neighborhoods, Houthi says its homemade Palestine, 2 Type missile-stuck U.S. warships, and Israel's Ben Gurion airport. But even as the U.S. president blames Iran for aiding the Houthis, Trump's special envoy says the issue can be resolved through diplomacy. With neither U.S. nor the Houthis holding back the fire, it remains to be seen who will initiate the path to peace and when the attacks will stop.
lot.